Hi, I'm Jonathan Ayest and this is Psychology of Improvising. In the last video we're talking about categorizations of intervals. There's the perfect consonants, the imperfect consonants and the dissonance. And this is really important because with categorizations it's possible to start to understand what you're doing and perceive your own improvising in terms of definite intervals. And now I'm going to talk about the kinds of motions that we associate with these intervals. Now, Joseph Fuchs, in his introduction to his contrapuntal exercises, talks about three different kinds of motion. One is parallel motion, where two voices move in the same way. Another kind of motion is oblique, where one voice stays the same, but the other voice moves up and down independently. Good, and the last motion is contramotion, where each voice moves in the opposite direction. Now, if we go back to our perfect intervals, this is where we started with the categorization of intervals. The perfect consonances were the fifth and the octave. Now, if I apply the first of the motions that Fuchs talks about, the parallel motion, to the perfect fifth, what happens? It's a very beautiful sound, but it doesn't work for diatonic harmony. In fact, this parallel fifth tends to really disturb diatonic harmony. So if there's one rule to remember, and I try and avoid rules on the whole, if there's one rule is to avoid parallel motion in fifths. However, parallel motion in imperfect consonances, the third and the sixth, works really well. So, for treating the perfect consonances, the fifth and the octave, the other kinds of motions work really well. Oblique motion and contramotion. So if we think about oblique motion, I can start from a third and get to my fifth, and it's a really nice way of getting to a fifth. Also to the octave. There's my octave. So the oblique motion works really well with the perfect consonant intervals. Also the same with contramotion. If my fifth is there, I can go from an octave to a fifth using contramotion. Works really well. If my octave is here, I can go from a third, or even from a fifth, from one consonant interval, from one perfect consonant interval, to another perfect consonant interval. So when we're dealing with the perfect consonances of fifth and octave, the other motions of oblique and contramotion work really well. But parallel motions tend not to work really well. Parallel motions we keep for thirds and sixths. So these are the basic principles that I use for constructing my diatonic textures. And in the next video, I'll show you, bring it all together and show you how to improvise a second voice to a given melody using these principles.